Hi, this is Felipe and welcome to Second Earth Alternative. So this is just a really quick kind of updated episode, and I just want to talk about the Hawaii volcanoes. As of last night, there was a major eruption that happened in Kilauea, and this is basically the southern volcano that's in the Big Island. And right now there are 22 fissures that are opened up, and there is gases, very poisonous gases that have essentially tripled in the last couple days. So authorities are really urging residents to stay indoors. There is laze, which is basically when the volcanic lava hits the Pacific Ocean and it creates hydrochloric acids, and it also creates like small shard-like fragments from the volcano, and it's extremely toxic, very harmful for the lungs, very harmful for the eyes. And as of last night, there was a plume that was recorded something between 7,000 and 10,000 feet into the air of these nauseous, these horrible gases. So, you know, it doesn't seem like there's any end in sight. The geologists don't know how long this volcanic eruption is going to continue. But the update is for residents to stay indoors and to stay away from these toxic fumes. And it just got me thinking, you know, because I've been hearing a lot of talks about possible activity that's been happening on the West Coast. You know, possibly geologists talking about the big earthquake. Tyler from Secure Team just published an episode talking about how Arizona was prepping for a possible exodus out of California. And then I see Hawaii, you know, basically being reactivated, and it sets right in a ring of fire. And then I start thinking, are we getting signs from our planet Earth? Is it telling us that something is being activated? I'm gonna be honest with you, all the individuals that I've encountered who have been part of some kind of government operation, or possibly some kind of special ops, or just anything in which they're deeply involved with the government or the military, they seem pretty convinced that something's gonna happen. When I talk to alien abduction victims, they seem to be convinced that something's gonna happen. Now, I don't wanna make this gloom and doom type episode, but I just wanna forewarn people that maybe these are signs that we should be looking at. And maybe it wouldn't hurt to just have an extra gallon of water, or just a little bit of preparation, just in case of some kind of natural disaster that we may not be able to predict. And on a funnier note, the Hawaiian officials have declared that Hawaii is still open for tourism. So all the airports are open. So if you guys want to go and fly to Hawaii, I guess they're saying it's okay. Just make sure you stay away from that hydrochloric, you know, toxic gases, as well as the laze that might, you know, destroy your lungs for your lifetime. But hey, you know, tourism is up in Hawaii. Let's do it. So one other thing I wanted to talk about is I want to talk about the direction of this channel and what is going on. Why am I making all these weird episodes about Bill Hicks? Why am I suddenly making this like vlog parody type episode? And the truth is, I kind of decided to redirect the channel because I was a little bit worried. You know, how can I say this? It's not that I've gotten direct threats, but I've been having pressures and indirect threats, and people kind of warning me to kind of watch out. And I've had this multiple times. I kind of started redirecting the episodes, especially after I realized that YouTube was just, you know, not gonna get to my channel in terms of monetization, which also kind of worried me a little bit. So I just kind of redirected the channel. I kind of decided to do a vlog parody. I tried to make it, you know, about different type of conspiracies, just to kind of shake things up and not make it so like, oh my God, like I'm gonna put myself in danger, I'm gonna put my family in danger kind of situation. So for all the other people who have UFO channels, if you guys gotten threats, please let me know. I wanna kind of hear what happened to you guys, and if the situation kind of matches what's happening with me. Okay, and so the last thing that I really wanted to talk about was remote viewing. So this remote viewing, it's actually really one of my favorite things that I've included in this episode. It's something that I've always was skeptical until I experienced it firsthand. I mean, I remember one hit that I had where it was so specific. I mean, I had like 6 or 7 different colors that ended up drawing, the exact shapes, each color and the shapes matched perfectly. You know, even it was as if I was looking at this like image. And remote viewing is really interesting because it's not just about like looking at an image, but sometimes you're, you know, feeling things like you can feel like emotions, or you can feel like if there's people there. And what is really important, right, when you remote view, and this is something that took me a long time to train myself, and I'm not saying that I'm good at remote viewing, I'm just saying that like I can kind of do it sometimes, but the whole training process for me was being able to discern what is my memory and what is this other thing that is possible information that's coming to you through other forms of perception, through senses that we have yet to understand. And to me, the way that I distinguished the two is if it was like really clear, right? If it was just like this thing that just popped in my head, that to me was like almost always memories, right? The memories were the ones that were actually a lot more clear, a lot more like forceful in your mind. And then if I kind of trance myself and just fall into this like state of meditation, I suddenly had this feeling of like warmth inside, right? Like I'm actually, it's hard to describe it. It's like, it's almost like a vibrational warmth that I get as the information kind of comes in a very cloudy way, and it starts clarifying itself, and everything becomes kind of like empty around me, like almost like in a vacuum. That's when it starts, to me, feeling like I'm getting information that's beyond my memories. So I'm sure everybody has their own strategies. I just wanted to kind of describe my process so you know, just for those who might be curious about it. Lastly, I wanted to tell you guys a story. Okay, so I don't know if anybody has ever tried to remote view something like really exotic, like the moon or the planets or maybe aliens, right? But I will tell you this, there was one time, right, where I was remote viewing, and I just remember catching myself in this very kind of like trance-like state. And then I said, you know what, it would be so cool if I could just like fly into space. And I really was focusing my mind into thinking, what other intelligent like forms are there around the spatial area, right? Around the space above me. And as this happened, I entered this weird, like, and I'm curious what other people experience, right? But my personal experience is I entered this weird, like, kind of purple looking room. It was very dark, dank, like how you see in one of those like Halo games or something. It was just really dark, dank, purplish. And one thing that was really weird to me, right, because I'd never seen anything like this before, is the corners of this very rounded room. And the corners were like, imagine as if you have like a tree, right, that is just kind of growing and its roots are just spreading, and then they go into the floor. And it's like this dark, like purplish roots. It would look really strange. And then there were just 2 beings, right? And right away I could tell that these were like reptilian like beings. But something that really surprised me is I always thought reptilians were like these small-headed, short-snouted, like lizard-like creatures. But the things that I saw, they looked more like alligators, or something that had like an alligator snout, or at least like halfway out kind of thing. And I just remember they also had like a clothes, and they even had like almost like a turtleneck, not a turtleneck, but like a V-neck, how do you call it? It's just one of those like neck things that kind of sticks out. And right when I noticed it, and I was like looking at its details, they noticed me right away. They just kind of churned. And before I even could make eye contact with this thing, I was just flung into this like weird spatial dimension area. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like being stuck in like some kind of like hypercube, right? I just felt like everything around me was white. And I felt like I was in some kind of space. And finally, when I figured out how to get out of this cube-like space, there would just be another cube on top of it. And then another cube on top of it. And it was like an endless amount of cubes until I just kind of woke myself out of this state. So I was like, whoa, that was like really strange. And I swear to God, only 2 weeks later, okay, I'm listening to Coast AM, and there's some remote viewer, I don't think it was Ed Dames or somebody else, and this person was asked, you know, have you ever remote viewed an alien? And this person just starts laughing, right? And, you know, an interviewer, I think it was George Norrie, you know, kind of was asking, you know, what's so funny? And he goes, well, the thing about aliens is they are so smart, they're so fast with their minds that it's really hard to pick up on their thought patterns. But more so, he said, they don't really like to be remote viewed. They throw you on a box within a box within a box. I kid you not, I shit you not. This happened 2 weeks after my experience. I nearly like fell off my chair when I heard this. So this got me really thinking about remote viewing. I thought it was something that, you know, I started getting independent confirmation of different like hits that I've had, but also with this thing that just happened that I explained to you with Coast to Coast. So that's why I'm doing this session. I think when I get a lot more audience, when I get like tens of thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands, if that ever happens, that this remote viewing section is going to be a lot more entertaining. It's going to be a lot more competitive. And the hope is to really kind of get people to play and see if there are people who are sensitive. See if we can point out different individuals who have a unique talent for this. So speaking of remote viewing, I do have another remote viewing card. Now I've had a few guesses from the one that I had in the previous episode, but it's not enough guesses for me to unveil yet. So I want to put 2 envelopes out there. This is the new envelope. The code is B81927-JYC7. So once again, just put RV : in your best guesses. And here is the envelope from the previous session. And this is the new session. I've signed the back. I don't know if this really matters, but maybe in time I can put some kind of, you know, one of those awesome like wax like things. So that way I can like be certain to you guys that nothing has been opened. But anyways, here are the 2 envelopes. This is the one from the previous episode. This is the one from the new episode. Thank you so much for listening to my crazy remote viewing stories. Yeah, hopefully I'll try to come out with a lot more episodes on UFOs. Like I said, I tried to shake things up a little bit, but I'm gonna try to get back in track. So for the loyal viewers, thank you so much for sticking with me this long. And that's it, guys. This is Felipe Osorio, signing out.